Welcome back to the final part of our case file, which we are calling Ghost Train. Isabelle, you are lost. You followed into the tunnel following Bill. Then he took a sharp left, which took you down a little service corridor, which had some light in it, which was really good. But then you turned right and you found yourself hurtling through some kind of sewerage output access corridor. It was a little confusing. And then there were some more twists and turns. And it feels like you've been running for miles, but you're not really winded yet. You've really hit your stride. And you are just following the sky deeper and deeper into the underground of Edinburgh. It's odd. For one thing, you should be exhausted. For two, you kind of feel like he should be exhausted. For three, you're pretty sure that all of these tunnels shouldn't be interconnected like this. I mean, you know that Edinburgh has a massive set of tunnels underground, but they don't all connect, and yet somehow they are connecting as you chase this creature down into the depths of Edinburgh. And you're not sure how much time has passed as you are now bolting down this corridor deep underground, chasing this man. But it is at that point you hear the shrill, piercing whistle behind you. And kind of catching up to you as you race down this corridor, you look back, and Lennox Gyle is standing on the ghost train, or at least it's almost the ghost train. It's got elements of that ghostly silver from before, but it's sort of half converted into a more mundane steel train. It's this mishmash of almost magic. And he's coming up towards you and it's gaining on you, but it's still going pretty slowly through the track as you see Lennox just give a pull down on this little whistle and the piercing cry echoes through this thin corridor you're on. What do you do?
Is there enough room to get myself up against the wall and get out of its way?
Yes, but it's also going slow enough that you could pull some athletic maneuver if you preferred.
Oh, should I try and get alongside it and jump on it?
Da, 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 da.
Yeah, she's going to try and get on it if she can see Lennox is on there.
Give me an athletics roll.
Do I get a bonus because it's going slowly, or...?
I'll give you a bonus if Lennox wants to try and grab you, Predator-style handshake, and pull you onto the train.
Absolutely, 100%.
Even with the bonus die, the best roll I got there was a 69, but I am quite prepared to spend the 9 points of luck that will mean I don't faceplant into the side of a train or get run over by one.
All I'll do here is give you 1 hit point damage as you swing onto this train, so it's up to you if you want to try and push or spend for this.
Well, if I'm only going to get 1 point of damage for bouncing off a train, then I'll save my luck, because things could certainly get a lot worse. So I am hurt. Okie dokie.
While you're struggling to get there, you can just hear Lennox singing under their breath. Time flies by when you're the driver of a train. It's just the chiggly tune. Just enjoying it.
I'm going to say a power roll here, Isabelle.
Come on, dice, don't let me down. That's a 67 out of 60, so I am prepared to spend 7 points of luck to stop that from being problematical.
It's not so much a case of problematic. What the pass is going to do is to help you understand what's happening with Lennox here.
I think it's worth spending it then.
Yeah, it's weird. They are under some kind of spell, or maybe it's some variation of being charmed. You're not entirely sure. It's glamour adjacent, but they are under the spell of this train is the easiest way to explain it, and they're not going to really come out of this while in the presence of this train. The mishmash of things becoming mundane as Lennox moves around is a very odd experience as well that you're not fully understanding at this moment in time.
Now, as much as I think it would be a good idea to get them off here and away from it, we kind of need to see where this track is going and where that guy's going. I still want to talk to him. None of this makes any sense.
Lennox, you are on a train going down a beautiful path. There are overgrown trees and bushes on either side, and you are going through the Fife countryside, Steam is pouring off the train. You have this amazing feeling of progress. When suddenly, there is a little girl waving a red petticoat in front of you.
The mind flips. I know exactly what this is. Still singing it under his breath. Under bridges, over bridges, to our destination. Red petticoat, danger, must stop the train. Puffing through the countryside, there's so much to be seen. Foot off the dead man's handle, pull the brake. Time flies by when you're the...
Isabelle, for some reason, you pull yourself out into a small opening which is perfectly round, and Lennox pulls the brakes to a stop, standing there singing awkwardly to themselves. You peer around, and standing in front of the train is a small boy wearing a little kilt and a blue shirt. And he says, "You're not Mummy."
No, Hen, I'm not. Who is your mummy?
Mummy's nice.
Oh, is your mummy the Lady Fourth?
Will you be my mummy?
I can be your auntie.
Hi, Auntie. What are we gonna play today?
I don't know, sweetheart. What's your name?
They call me Mile.
Mile? Oh, that's a nice name.
Let's play a game.
Would you like to play hide and seek?
I don't like hide and seek. I like it when we play put the things where they belong.
And what are we putting where they belong?
And suddenly the voice gets much darker and it says, everything. Everything. Rhodri Cadwallader, you have been interviewing Ben for quite a long time now. You have established that Ben has a brother, Bill, that Bill and Ben use the ghost train to move things around. You've established that yes, someone got in their way yesterday. You've established that no, they do not care. You've established that they are not interested in doing as they are told. And you've established that you cannot convince them to stop. I think the interview ended with you threatening to take their train away from them because they couldn't be trusted. But I'm going to let you decide exactly how that ended up going.
Oh, you listen here, you little bugger. If we, the Special Circumstances Police Force, if we decide to take your train away, what do you think our friend Mr. Leith is going to have to say about that? It's not because of me, you know. It'd be because of you. Do you think he'd be happy about that, do you?
Alright, let's see where this goes. Social roll.
73 over 30.
How does he get away?
I think, in the most embarrassing way possible, I think Rhodri has been holding this fireball, so that's been taking some focus, it's been taking that. He's trying this kind of teachy-telling off thing, but Ben just pops up from the floor and runs off. And Rhodri is like, "What? Where you go, you little bugger? Come back here right now, you! I didn't say you could go!" But what's he going to do? What's Rhodri actually going to do apart from throw a fireball at him, which I don't think he's willing to do at this stage? He was trying to ward him off earlier and stop him, but he's not actually trying to kill him.
He runs into the same tunnel that the others disappeared into earlier.
I think Rhodri jogs after him, but rather than trying to track him down and arrest him and that, it's more about, I want to kind of see where he goes and I want to see if I can see DC Wood or PC Gyle.
Yeah, you saw this gate earlier. There was a locked gate here. There's not a locked gate anymore. In fact, perfectly pristine railway tracks lead deeper into a dimly gas-lit tunnel.
All right, bugger. I want to get through because I figure that's where DC Wood and PC Gyle are, but my instinct is also telling me to try and recognize any of the magic here, just in case of any kind of key traces or anything. But rather than like a full-on assessment, it's more of a quick, I'm going down the tunnel and I'm following these tracks and I'm wondering if I can kind of sense something that I can follow.
Sure, give me a sense procedure.
37 under 60.
Edinburgh is a loud and confusing city to read vestigia in, especially when you're in the old town. There is just so much of it. You have the background of North Edinburgh here, which is this leafy suburb, children playing. You're actually technically in a children's play park. And so that sits there in the background. But as you step into this corridor, you get progress and you get the steam and you get the tracks, everything you've been experiencing so far. But also you just get overwhelmed by those base feelings, almost the definition of Edinburgh. You've got the old smoke, you've got the boots on cobblestones, you've got the screams and shouts for blood. And somewhere deep underneath all of that, it's almost nothing, but it's because you've been following it for days now. Separate but also intertwined, you have the lightest stroke of a pen.
In my slightly bloodied and hurt state, I'm going to be hobbling down these tracks as fast as I can. Mind split between finding DC Wood, PC Gyle, and also trying my hardest and probably failing, but trying my hardest to retain that sense of the slightest stroke of a pen.
Brilliant. Since you're no longer in combat, you heal that damage. And we'll pivot back to Isabelle, talking to this young boy, Mile.
So what is it that needs to go back where it should be? And don't say everything, that's not very helpful. Now, your mum did say that we needed to keep an eye on you and to help you, and I'm happy to do that. But what is it that needs to go back where it should be right now? Is it this train?
Give me a social roll.
That's a 16 out of 60, so that's a hard success.
Mum says that museums are unjust and we must return the things that were stolen through empire. She says that we take the things and put them where they belong and people are happier. So she points me at things that need to be taken and I put them where they should be. It's fun. I practiced and I got really good at it and I could tell what the little shape was and then I put it by the big thing that was the same.
Oh, I remember. Yes, you did a good job of that.
The scary man didn't like it when I went to see him though.
Would that be Leith?
I don't like him.
He's a bit much, isn't he?
Mum says I'm not to go down there anymore.
Oh, I don't blame her. He is quite scary.
She says there's some people down there I need to not talk to.
Oh, I hope that's not us.
I know, why would I not talk to you? You're lovely.
Oh,
Where should this train be? It shouldn't be here.
no, that's what I'm worrying about.
Will we put this train back?
I think we should probably put the train back. Can I get my friend off it first, though? I think I might need you to help me. He seems a bit distracted.
They feel like they belong on the train. Are you sure?
I'm sure they don't belong on the train. They belong in my world. They love trains.
They'd be so happy.
They would, but people would miss them. And they wouldn't really be in their proper place then, would they?
Oh, yeah. Yes, so they need to come off the train, and it's almost like the veil is lifted, Lennox, and suddenly you feel yourself again. You don't know what that was, how it happened, or anything else, but suddenly you are capable of your own thought.
Right. Train into secure mode. Sheepishly gets off the train, looks at Isabelle. I would appreciate if you don't tell my superiors that I may have just taken a potentially stolen train for a joyride.
I don't like them.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't like them.
There's nothing to be afraid of. My name's Lennox. What's yours?
And the child begins to cry.
Oh dear. Lennox, think maybe if you leave and I'll try and calm Mile down. Mile is the little boy we've been looking for.
Oh, okay. I'll go and secure whatever might be in the back of the train then.
Good, thank you. Much appreciated. It's all right. I'm going to pat my pockets down, see if I've got any sweets or snacks with me.
It has been previously established that you always have sweets with you, so they are polos, fruit polos.
Oh yes, my fruit polos. I'd forgotten about my fruit polos. I will get the fruit polos out and offer one to Mile. See if that'll help him stop crying.
Mile happily and quietly begins to soak on the polos. Cadwallader, you are following this stroke. It is significantly weaker than the other Signari around. So give me another sense vestigial. Let's see how well this goes for you.
Oh, 8 under 60.
Excellent. That's a hard success. You move between these tunnels and you switch into the side tunnels. You go down the access paths. You crawl your way through some stone ruins. You're going to find your way back out. You move between the chaos that is the underground of Edinburgh. What is your approach? Are you going fast? Are you taking a stealthy approach? Are you shouting out as you go along for Isabelle and Lennox?
Probably the worst of all three. I'm probably a little bit limpy, but I'm kind of like almost so focused on the sense of the stroke of the pen. I'm almost kind of mimicking a stroke of a pen with my hand. So I'm not being very stealthy. I'm being very direct in following that. And I'm sure people will definitely hear me coming and going and mumbling to myself.
All right, then you will take this observation roll with a penalty die.
I could have lied and said stealthy, but I just don't think it's what Rhodri's doing. Oh, so that's 12 under 60. Let's roll that d10 again. Oh, it's a 10 again. 12 under 60. Rhodri rolls the best dice ever. I love this guy.
You turn the corner, signing and looking down, and you literally walk into Patel. She goes, "Oh!" She looks at you with confusion in her eyes. And then suddenly, you feel a flash, stroke of a pen, the taste of soap.
Oh, Patel.
And your feet are bound together, pulled back, you drop down, and your head smacks against the ground, and she is just gone. What do you do?
Are my feet still bound?
It feels like they are magically bound in some way, but you feel like you could probably overcome it with a bit of a forceful push.
Then that's exactly what I'm going to do.
Okay, give me a strength roll.
Oh dear. 96 over 40.
Okay, it takes longer than you might imagine. Isabelle, let's pivot back to you. You have got this train, you have got Lennox securing the train, and you have this little child in front of you.
All right, sweetheart. We're going to let Lennox secure the train, and then I'm going to ask them to go so they don't upset you anymore. And once they've gone away, we'll put the train back. Yes?
I don't think I've ever moved anything as big as a train.
I'm sure you can do it. We'll just do it slowly and carefully.
It's not far. Will I put it with the other ones?
Which are the ones?
That way, sometimes it's a loch, but most of the time it's a train station.
Do I get the feeling he's talking about Waverley?
Probably talking about Waverley.
Let's face it, it's probably the safest place for it, even if the staff at Waverley are going to be slightly surprised to find a steam train there tomorrow morning. Or later this morning. Yes, let's put it with the other trains. We just have to be careful.
And I think, Lennox, as you secure this train, what you realise is the carriages are just chock-a-block full of tea and coffee. Just tons and tons of this stuff. An unbelievable volume of coffee.
Lennox pokes her head out, calls to Isabelle. I'm not quite sure what type of crime might be committed here. It's not illegal to move tea and coffee to Edinburgh, is it?
Oh, no, that's definitely not what I was expecting to be on this train, given Leith's reputation.
I don't suppose your little friend there knows anything about where the tea and coffee's bound for.
Well, I'll ask. Lyle, did you do anything to change what was on the train? And do you know where it came from, the tea and the coffee?
Give me a luck roll.
Oh, God, that's not great. I've only got 38 points left. No, 48. Rats.
The tea and coffee goes to the mean man in North Edinburgh. We're not meant to know about it.
No, I know.
Maybe this scene will just end with you holding Miles' hands as the two of you walk towards Waverley, the train slowly following behind like a little pet dragon. Rhodri, you are running down this corridor chasing after Patel. running as fast as you can, but you don't seem to be gaining on her. And you turn to your side, and running right beside you is Leith. Right, fucker, where are we off to?
Well, I found out one of the bloody buggers who's been working against us this whole time. We've sorted your train out now. We saw Bill and Ben, like.
Do you even have any fucking trains anymore? Come on, let's go. And as you watch Leith and you run down this corridor, something really weird is happening, which is he's changing. He's going from this sort of bearded, slimy looking guy, and the hair is shortening and a mustache is growing out. The beard is disappearing. He's becoming significantly more debonair. He suddenly has this hat on. He looks like he's a captain of a sailing ship, and he's like, well, come on, we got to keep going. Not much further now.
And I'm like panting and breathing, like horribly trying to keep up. You know, my jacket's gone. I'm looking like a mess.
Just a wee bit more, you shagger. Come on.
All right, I'm coming. Bloody hell, man. You go fast without legs, don't you?
And suddenly you are swimming. You're making your way through water. Give me an athletics roll.
Oh, 40 over 30. Is this something I really want to succeed at?
There are fun options all the way around, my friend.
I think I'm going to use some luck.
You break through the water and suddenly you are looking around. This water stinks. It's horrifying here. And you splutter and spit it out of your mouth as you pull yourself onto shore. And you look around and it's a weird sight. The castle is still above you, but as you look over to the south where the new town would be, there's farmland stretching for the 1.5 miles down to the sea. Barely any development whatsoever. As you look around, horses and carriages move through this park, and there's a hustle and bustle up by the castle, and you look around and there is Leith just laughing at you beside you. You have no found yourself in the right place, have you, pig?
Right, I'm sorry, Mr. Leith, what you saying now?
It's no much further back to Bruce if you really want to come. But your quarry, she's off that way. And he points up the mile.
I'm sorry, Mr. Leith, I've got to chase her down now, but I promise I'll help with Mr. Bruce, I promise.
Give me an athletics roll as you chase Patel through this ancient scene.
I've got 15, which is my half.
So it's a hard success.
Like bang on 15, yeah.
You pound your way up the mound with Leith laughing along as he jogs along beside you, slowly kind of going backwards in time. He's lost the hat and everything else, and now he's wearing like noble attire, and he's striding up. He appears to be walking, but he's going as fast as you pant your way up this mound and you drive up the hill. Edinburgh slowly shrinking down, shrinking back towards this single mile between the castle and the palace. And you basically climb through the building, storm through this horrendous, actually filthy little home, clap out onto the mile, and you feel beneath your feet the cobblestones, so familiar and yet so different. You look up and you look down, and the little lithe shape of DC Patel slips through the crowds.
I'm very much trying to weave through those crowds, trying to find, trying to move my way through. I don't know what the reality of blending in is.
Leith is gone now, but there's a child running along beside you now, skipping as you bolt, laughing as you chase him down. And he's singing, ring a roses, pot full of posies, ashes. Ashes we all fall. And there is just an explosion by one of the walls. And you suddenly realize that you are standing on the Royal Mile in central Edinburgh at 5 a.m. And Patel has just climbed into a van and has just started the engine and has just driven away down Southbridge, heading south away and out of the city.
Is there an opportunity to try and stop the van? Or am I too late?
It is very far away. There would be a lot of collateral damage if you tried.
I don't try. For a moment, the instinct is to whip a fireball at the left rear tyre, but being in the crowd with the people on the Royal Mile, I think the danger to life collateral damage is far too significant and would be far too revealing for our merry band of little troops in this new setup in Scotland. So Rhodri stops, stamps his foot, and roars out into the air. "Oh, you goddamn little bugger, Patel! I'm going to get you! I'm going to bloody get you, you scallywag!"
About 5 hours later, you've had a short nap. You've just gotten 3 hours in on a chair of the manse. You've had coffee, you've had a shave, and you are all sitting down at the kitchen table of the manse trying to sort through what just happened.
"Why, I tell you, Isabelle, all of a sudden it's bloody Patel, you know, and I'm face to face, and she's like whipping me up in the air, throwing me around those tunnels. And I chased her, and you know, all this weird time slipping started to happen, and Leith was bloody running with me, and he was getting younger, and Rhodri's had about 5 espressos at this point, and he is just wound up. He is firing these words out almost like bullets. And then I'm running up this bloody hill, and I find myself at this mile, and the building's gone down. I think it looks like some kind of bloody Ren fair, but I end up at the top of this thing, and it's the Royal Mile, you know, and there's this pop, and Patel's in the van, and she's getting away, and oh God, I was so close, Isabelle. I tell you what, I was bloody... Oh, I could have crashed the bloody gnat's hair off her.
Are you sure it was Patel, sir? I mean, I've known Patel for years. She's never displayed anything, well, not even a magical bone in her body before now. I mean, the other night she was asking me about magic and whether it was real. I mean, are you absolutely certain, sir?
Isabelle, on that, give me a magic roll.
It's a 69 out of 60. Seeing as we're getting toward the end, I am quite happy to spend 9 luck if I need to.
Sure, spend it. As you're sitting there, you sort of think of the signari that Cadwallader is describing. The stroke of the pen, the neatness that you always associate with Patel. That smell of soap that you sort of associate with her. She always seems so clean and so sober and so happy and so... That wasn't a smell. All kind of comes clicking together. All the moments where your magic was awry and odd around her, where things didn't quite go the way they should have, and how you're always trying to show her and impress her, but it was always just off every time. And I don't know how that affects someone, Isabelle. Maybe you want to think about that for a second. But it's almost like the feeling of getting stabbed, the hole in your heart, as Rhodri describes Signari, and it's just the feeling of Patel to you.
She's been fundamentally shaken. She's had her faith in her friends and her own judgment somewhat shaken by this.
Lennox, you got a lot of very positive feedback. You have managed to discover a literal steam engine that apparently was being used to move illicit goods. It is about 24 hours after the steam engine is secured that it is reported and caught on CCTV camera that 2 urchins managed to dig deep underneath all of the tea and coffee and pull out a small chest which they run off with into the night and are never seen again. But the steam engine itself is a beautiful thing, which the British Transport Police are very happy had been appropriately recovered. You seem to have solved the mystery with regards to the death of the woman on the tracks, and it seems to be that it is no longer going to happen. You had a very successful few days. And finally, and most importantly, later this week, that little band of track that you have not been able to get rid of, you have not been able to release. Finally, the paperwork comes through.
Lennox sighs the biggest sigh of relief they've ever done. And I think after all of this excitement, this is just the icing on the cake here. And I think leaning back in their chair at their desk, just hums, almost absent-mindedly, a little song about how time flies by when they're the driver of a train. And Lennox gets back to the other mountains of paperwork, dotting the I's, crossing the T's, filling everything out in triplicate, just waiting for the next time that Cadwallader and Isabelle need some railway help.
That is where we will end case file 2. Thank you so much to all of my participants for engaging with what I think was a really fun, confusing, and mind-blowingly horrifying at the end mystery. I apologize for letting my Call of Cthulhu break into Rivers of London. Make you all suffer a little bit.
Suffer? Just a little.
Your tentacle showing. That's what they say, isn't it?
My tentacle is showing. So you have survived 4 sessions in this case file, so you can have 4 development points.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that means I now have 6.
Well, I think with the recent tete-a-tete with Patel, Cadwallader is looking at improving and possibly even learning new magic.
You can also improve. You can master a spell as well.
I could learn and master a spell.
Yeah.
I think shield is what I'm looking at, because what I'd like to do is learn shield and master Impello Palmer.
And DC Wood.
Right. I'm going to spend a development point to improve my athletics by 10%.
Okay.
I'm going to spend a couple of development points to increase my observation, because her observation at the moment is 30, which is a bit rubbish. I think I would like to master a spell, Snapdragon. And I think I'm going to leave it at that.
If I've had 5 development points, have I spent 2 on the spells?
Yes.
Does that mean I can use 3 to improve approximately 30 points of skills?
Yeah, and you can acquire a new skill as well.
Ooh.
You would start at half of the associated characteristic, which is the same as, trying your luck.
Athletics is definitely something Cadwallader could improve at least up to 40, which leaves him with 2, because that's 2 on the spells, 1 on that, and everything's about Patel now. He's really rattled by this. Dealing with Leith is one thing, but dealing with someone who's in the actual police force and has been a hidden practitioner for all this time, and clearly, someone even that Isabelle knows, he's probably hitting the books pretty hard. Would I be able to use those to learn the expert skill of occult? Because I think he wants to use it to try and learn about Patel and anything she might be into.
Mm-hmm.
So 1 point for learning the skill and then 1 for adding an extra 10%?
I believe so.
So you do half of your associated characteristic, which would be intelligence, which would be 32. And then I'm going to add 10 to it with the last one. So 42 for occult. Is that okay?
That makes perfect sense.
Often does for Rhodri. Seems like an enigma, but makes perfect sense deep down.
Thank you all very much for listening to our second case file. I hope you will all return next week for the final case file in this short campaign, The Stone of Scone.
Thank you, Hedge. That was great fun.
That was great fun.